Hello everyone, I'm Justin, and for today's video, Combatants Will BE Dispatched. For today's video, I want to talk about a really interesting comedy anime, written by the same author of Konosuba. Known for its irreverent comedy and lovable characters, we're all being sent to a different world in Combatants Will BE Dispatched. Now, before we get started talking about the anime, let's give some background about the series. Natsume Akatsuki, the writer of the series, started writing in 2012, first entering his works for a competition that really didn't catch anyone's attention. But later that year, he started posting his novels in the well-known webpage of Shosetsuka Ninaro. There, his first actual novel was Combatants Will BE Dispatched, which garnered some attention. But it wasn't until he released his second novel that he became popular with Konosuba, which was picked up as a light novel in 2013. Later on, and thanks to the massive success of Konosuba, the author decided to serialize Combatants Will BE Dispatched as a full-length light novel in 2017, fixing some issues present in the original novel and expanding the story. But even if it was still a learning point for the author, this story deserves its place in the history of comedy isekai. So for today, I want to talk about the anime adaptation of this light novel, which aired in April of 2021. But before that, here is the disclaimer that there will be major spoilers ahead for the anime, as well as its ending, so take that in consideration. And with that said, let's move on with the video. The anime takes place in a world where an evil organization called the Kisaragi Corporation is on the verge of total Earth domination, so the next obvious step is to expand their operations to other planets. To this point, the leaders of the organization, which turn out to be some hot big-breasted ladies, sent Agent 6 to scout the new world and prepare the groundwork for the invasion. Sent with nothing but an android called Alice and a machine that turns bad deeds into points that can be used to get different items, our quote-unquote hero has to find his way in this new world surrounded with magic and infiltrate into a kingdom. Our hero quickly learns about the world and becomes a commander for a human kingdom, but his only helpers are Snow, a swordman that is clearly the original Aqua, Rose, a chimera that is clearly the original Megumi, and Grim, a dark mage that is clearly the original Darkness. This group has to fight against the Demon King army and his generals, all of this while Agent 6 is preparing for the inevitable invasion of the Kisaragi Corporation. Now, on paper, this looks like a generic isekai anime, but the thing that differentiates it from other animes is the characters. Agent 6 is not your typical hero, but a ruthless character that would cheat and use any possible advantage to win. Impenetrable spiral tower? Let's just climb up from outside and push them down the stairs. The enemy is too powerful? Let's use other demons as hostages. Did we just defeat a general? Well, of course, it's time to humiliate them in front of their subordinates. Yeah, our main protagonist is a scumbag, and it really pays off as he gets evil points for his deeds, which are used to get more powerful weapons. So his actions are for a reason, guys. I'm sure that he's not enjoying it, right? The girls are cute and funny in their own ways, but they also know when to be serious. But then there are some of the what the fuck moments, like when Grim is crushed by a rock, and the only concerned one is Agent 6. Everyone else doesn't even care about her death, because apparently she can revive in the church. But still, I thought that moment was so weird. Snow also has her moments when she's acting silly with her decisions throughout the story. But then, at some points there is this depth in the character as she is a loyal servant to the crown. Rose, as a chimera, struggles with the idea of being neither a monster nor a human, but we usually forget about it with her chunibyo attitude and her endless hunger. Overall, the cast is what really pushes this anime further, and the story is really unique. We have this evil corporation that fights Kamen Rider type of heroes and relies completely on technology and enhanced humans. And on the other side, It is the new world that relies completely on sword and magic. This contrast presents a really wonderful story that clearly we have never seen before. But then, at some points we have some inconsistencies in the story, or things that deserve to be better explained than what it was shown. I remember after the first story ended, there is this new tiger mutant called Tiger Man. No real explanation, he's just there, and we just have to accept it. But apparently he was sent by the Kisaragi Corporation as reinforcement. Then, throughout the story, we're sent to different locations for not real good reason at all, and we just get from point A to B without a follow-up, on how things ended up that way. If Konosuba was the author's masterpiece of comedy isekai, Combatants Will BE Dispatched showed a rough draft of his type of comedy and character building that he was quickly developing. But compared to Konosuba, it still looked rough around the edges, and sometimes the story left a bit to be desired. But overall, you can see that the author was learning how to write a good story. As for the ending of the story, through the anime there are two different stories. The first one is the fight against the Demon King army, and the second one is a travel to another kingdom and a desert in order to acquire water from the kingdom, which ends up with an investigation to an ancient ruins that contains a mech that the Agent 6 has to fight. I personally think that the first part was far superior and more entertaining than the second one, which really felt like a mash of multiple stories that were inconsequential to the general story. But as a one-offs and comedic episodes, they are still entertaining. Overall, Combatants Will BE Dispatched is rough around the edges and lacking at some points, especially in plot progression. But overall, it has a really interesting concept and extremely funny dark humor, which makes it a must-watch for anyone, especially if you want to learn more about the development of comedy for the author of Konosuba. And with that said, we come to the conclusion of this anime review. What did you guys thought of Combatants Will BE Dispatched? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, see you guys next time.